Hello, my Facebook friends and family out there. This is Doug, your friendly internet sales rep, and I'm here with the 2021 Ford Bronco. This is a two-door, and we just took in a 2021 Jeep Wrangler. Now, this is a four-door unlimited. I understand sizing as far as length and backseat space will be different, but in this video, I would like to point out some key design elements on this 2021 Bronco and compare them side by side with this 2021 Jeep Wrangler. And I'll start with the Jeep Wrangler. Now, this mirror is mounted on the door, and this door also has a frame that goes all the way around the window. This is a window in frame, so to speak. When you open it up, you can see if you were to take this door off, this right here would also have to have this accounted for as far as size-wise goes, and you would lose your mirror. On the inside of this panel, it has your locks and it has the mirror controls because, again, mirror is mounted to the door. One huge difference with this one is when we open up this door, I want to point out that this is a frameless window. That's right, so no frame around the window, so all you have to do is roll the window down. With the window down, this is all that you have to account for on your door because it is a frameless window, whereas the Jeep Wrangler has a frame all the way around the door. Now, also, another key design element here with the Bronco is that the mirror is mounted. This is called a cowl-mounted mirror. This mirror is mounted up on top. So even if we remove the doors, we still have our mirrors. Now, this is more of a safety and a federal regulation kind of thing. Technically, if you go down the highway with this and no mirrors, technically that is a violation. And that mirror being off will also reduce your visibility of the traffic beside of you, whereas this one will stay on. And not only stay on, but this one also has a blind spot monitor system to be able to help make sure that you're safe when your doors are off. Something else I want to bring up is door removal. So it looks easy because of these pins to be able to just lift the door, right? But there's wiring, and I'm no Jeep expert, so forgive me. But I just bought this and I didn't know how to take the doors off. I would need to read an owner's manual, maybe take this panel off or take this panel off or do something outside of my norm. Maybe even remove this bolt or maybe there's something easy to remove in here. But I have to go through quite a bit of effort to be able to remove this. But now on the Bronco, for one, I like the clean finish. You can see the door hinges on the outside. For me, it's kind of but nice clean finish. I like it. Stepping into the inside of the Bronco, it's as simple as bolt number one, bolt number two. Check out this wiring harness. It's a quick clip. You can even see the little gasket right there. You just shove that out, pop this little clip out, just like so. And voila, my wiring is disconnected, and all I gotta do is take two bolts out. And like, Doug, bolts, I don't have wrench sets. That's okay. Bronco gives you a tool set that will actually fit the bolts that are not just here, but let's say you wanted to remove these bolts to add a different accessory. You can actually do that as well. And again, Ford supplies you the tools needed and required to be able to remove the bolts in different areas of the Bronco. Now, stepping in the Jeep, another design element I want to point out is this bar that runs in the middle of the vehicle. You can tell it's really close here to the driver's seat. Also, it's right in the middle. So as far as like your open air, you have this little bit here, and then your passengers have a little bit, but there's a bar right in the middle. There's also no speakers mounted in the back. The speakers are right over the driver's head, whereas the back seat passengers don't have as good of speakers. On the inside of the Bronco, however, there is no bar right here in the middle. This right here is just kind of a structure on the hard top that is removable, but your bar is all the way back there, and the speakers are mounted in the corner of the corner of this cab to be able to help each person be able to hear. There's also speakers right up top right here for the driver and passenger, but there's no bar. So when you remove this top, you have all of this space right here that's wide open. Really gives you a nice feel. Again, going back to the Wrangler, another design element I want to talk about are the grab handles. So you have a grab handle right here in front. You have a grab handle up here on the top, up on your A-pillar. And as far as like when you're sitting in the seat, this can be a bit of a reach. There's also no grab handles in the center console. Whereas the Bronco does offer a grab handle in the center console, which is really convenient right there next to your leg. There's also a grab handle up here that's not necessarily way up here on the A-pillar, but down here a little bit easier to grab and to access, especially if you're off-roading and didn't have the door with you. Something else I want to talk about is the proportions here on the top versus the bottom. All right, so the bottom is fairly low, but this top is quite large as far as the size of it goes on the Jeep Wrangler. If you look over here at the Bronco comes up a little bit higher and has a shorter top. And the blessing here, because I've taken a hard top off, is weight. As far as the weight of having to take the top off, or the weight, like on this one right here, if I imagine taking this top off, the glass is larger. No doubt this is going to be a heavier top, going to be more difficult to remove. Whereas this one, because the way that it's designed, again, I'll step back so you can see both of them. See how this one right here, as far as the space between the bumper and the top and space between the bumper and the top are different. The hard top here is shorter than this one. So no doubt that one right there is going to be a lot lighter to be able to remove. So as far as being able to remove the top and take it off, super easy to be able to do. It's also really light. Another design element I'd like to talk about is the front bumper. Now, the front bumper on this Jeep specifically, as you look at it, there's really not a whole lot of things to do. You got a couple hooks, it's fairly large. If you wanted to modify and change it, I know there are all different kinds of bumpers that you can buy. But as you can tell, there's not a lot of access to, you got maybe a couple points here that you could open up to get a hold of. But there's, other than that, I mean, it's pretty difficult to be able to modify or remove. One thing that the Bronco did that really impresses me is when you're looking at this bumper, this is the heavy duty front modular bumper. There are bolts all over the place. Not only because you can remove this piece right here, but also let's say you wanted to mount a bull bar. Well, you've got several bolt and access points here and here. You also have a couple more bolts right in here to be able to mount a mount for the winch. You also have bolts, if I'm not mistaken, you got them right down here to be able to remove this. But also these bolts double as possible spots that you can mount your lighting. If you wanted some off-road lights on the corner of your vehicle, you have the ability to do that. Another design element I want to talk about are the fender flares. So on this Jeep, this is your flare. Of course, it is able to be modified, but it takes a lot more to do it. I mean, you can look on the inside of this and there's not a whole lot of clues of where you start. I guess with these rivets here, these plastic rivets, you start to remove those to remove your fender flare. But check this out on the Bronco. You have this flare here, right? But this actually has a quick release system built in. You have quick release options to be able to turn these and to quickly remove your fender flare off of the vehicle. If you decide to go off-road and you wanted maybe the extra clearance for a tire or whatever the case is, it's easy to be able to remove everything on this Bronco, not just the fender flares, but also the actual fender. You can use a set of sockets and bolts and remove the fenders, remove the quarter panels, and completely customize this Bronco. And also on the mirrors, you can see here even it says accessory ready. There are accessories specifically built that you can mount right here to your mirror to be able to have a light or other accessory on the top of your vehicle. The next thing I want to talk about is the top of the dash. So looking at the top of this dash, you have a tray to hold stuff. You have your defroster. There's also not a whole lot of space here. It's fairly thin, and some could think of that as good, but looking at the dash of the Bronco, they really utilize this space well. One, because you have a lot of your customizable switches here, like if you wanted to have your rear locking diff. This also has a trail turn assist that locks the inside tire to help you be able to make a tighter turn. There's also spots here if you get a Badlands or a Sasquatch package for a front locking differential and other off-road features. So those are rubberized, waterproof, great technology there. But what I really wanted to point out here is this little accessory mount. There's an accessory ready mount in these Broncos to mount your GoPro, or maybe if you had a rail, you could also mount a rail that can go all the way across the side of the dash to be able to add different spots for cameras or other off-road equipment that you have on your vehicle, whether it's a certain gauge or monitoring or certain camera angle that you're monitoring. You can use not only the GoPro to video and to show everybody your off-road status, but you also have USB charging right up here to be able to charge your camera or whatever you're using. So you have a lot of cool features on the front of this dash in the Bronco that you can use for off-road purposes. And another really cool feature on the Bronco that I really haven't seen in the Wranglers are these factory installed upfitter switches that are pre-wired. That's right, there is wiring already built into this system. There's wires that go to the front, there's wires that go to the back, and there's wires throughout the vehicle that are pre-wired into these switches. So if you wanted to hook up an accessory light on the top of your vehicle, there's already wires ran up to the top of the vehicle that you can tap into to wire it up and have a switch that's just that easy to be able to turn on. And there's 6 of them. So, I mean, you got several things that you can add, whether it's the top accessory light, the lights on the bumper, the winch that you have, maybe a rear view light and a cooler that you have, and a off-road compressor. There are a ton of options that you can do with these 6 switches to be able to add in off-road accessories. Now, the Wrangler has been manufactured for years, and it's had the similar look, and they've done a good job. But I believe Ford has really released a vehicle that's going to be even better. I mean, not only because the doors are easy to remove, the different design elements like the pre-wired auxiliary switches, the modifications you can make to the bumpers, the fenders, the flares, everything about this Bronco that you can modify is so much easier than the Wrangler, and it just looks awesome doing it. I thank you again, guys, for watching, and if you have any comments or questions about the Bronco, I'll be more than happy to be able to help you out. And again, thanks for watching.